This is the afternoon weather briefing for Thursday, May 15th. This is James Spann, Alabama's weather. Rain-free today. Nothing on the board, but we will deal with a few storms over the weekend. The weather will not be as wet as last weekend, but there might be a strong storm involved. So a pretty complicated setup here. Let's talk about it. This is the upper air look, and we have a big trough going negative tilt out across the high plain states. That's going to set the stage for some very active weather well to the north of Alabama later today and tonight. Visible satellite view. It is a mostly sunny day across the state. And nothing on radar here. The closest storms over parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas. But again, Alabama should be dry tonight and during the day tomorrow. And we are warm. Most everybody in the 80s, the exception center. Up in Cherokee County, they've got 78. Elsewhere, 80s on the map. We've got 82 at Huntsville, mid-80s for Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, 87 for Dothan. We'll check the watch warning map. We note there is a severe thunderstorm watch for parts of northeast Arkansas, southwest or southeast Missouri, and the northwestern tip of Tennessee. Up north, a tornado watch in effect now for parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Wind advisories for the Dakotas and some of the adjacent states. And we still have a heat advisory for parts of South Texas where they're dealing with temperatures near 100. So for the rest of today and tonight, we have a level 3 out of 5 risk of severe storms for cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay, Grand Rapids, Indianapolis. We have a risk all the way down into Arkansas, but this does not include Alabama. All of this stays north of the state. Tomorrow, we now have a level 4 out of 5 risk. The area is in red on that map, that red circle, for southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and western Kentucky. The broader risk running from Texas to the middle Atlantic coast. And we note that there is a risk defined for North Alabama, basically from Birmingham north. And understand this outlook extends through 7 a.m. Saturday. And this is for storms that will likely creep into North Alabama after midnight tomorrow night in the pre-dawn hours on Saturday. And we'll take a look at modeling on this in just a second. And then after 7 a.m. Saturday, we have a low-end level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe storms for about the northern half of the state. And understand it will not be the kind of rainy day we had last Saturday. The storms will be more scattered in nature. And it could be the bulk of the storms could be during the morning hours. The latest guidance coming in fairly dry for the afternoon. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But again, some of the heavier storms Saturday could produce maybe some small hail and gusty winds. So let's keep going. This is day 4, which is Sunday. Got a risk of severe storms well to the west of here. Parts of North Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. This is day 5, which is Monday. A risk along Interstate 35, the northern suburbs of Dallas, Fort Worth, up to Oklahoma City, Wichita, Omaha. That includes also Kansas City. And then on Tuesday of next week, a risk of severe storms from northeast Texas up to St. Louis and Kansas City. And at this point, no risk is defined beyond that. We'll take a look at next week's guidance here in just a second. Here's a look at rain for the next 7 days. And again, the Gulf Coast with nothing. Headed down to the Gulf Coast, everything looks good. Dry conditions for the next 7 days. North Alabama, 1 to 2 inches. Central Alabama, under 1 inch. And this is valid between now and Thursday morning of next week. So let's try and break all this down. Kind of a complex setup here. Model fans, the GFS 12Z run tomorrow at 4. Very deep upper low over Minnesota. A strong ridge over the Gulf of Mexico, or the Gulf of whatever you describe it based on your politics. I don't want to get into that. The Gulf. And we have a trough that's south of San Diego. And the ridge should be the dominant player for us tomorrow during the day. We think the day will be dry with any storms north of the state. Highs go back in the mid to upper 80s, the sky partly sunny. So a band of storms will be creeping into the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama late tomorrow night. This is midnight tomorrow night. And the new HER suggesting the storms could be approaching the shoals around midnight tomorrow night. And that band of storms will sag steadily southward. And really, at that point, it should be linear, not cellular, but linear, meaning the main issue would be from strong, gusty winds. And then by 5 a.m. Saturday, early Saturday morning, that line is coming into Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden. Should be weakening at that point. The air should be more stable. Still, there could be some gusty winds with that. So again, just keep in mind we're going to have a band of storms entering the Tennessee Valley about midnight tomorrow night, then pushing down toward Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden by 4 or 5 a.m. The main threat coming from strong winds. The tornado threat, it's low. It's not zero, but it's fairly low. And maybe some small hail. And this will likely dissipate later Saturday morning as it drops down to the south. The question is, could we see redevelopment Saturday afternoon? This is the high-resolution NAM. This is valid Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, and really it's not showing much at all. And there's a chance that that batch early Saturday morning could kind of stabilize the atmosphere and we wind up with not much development. But I do think we have to mention at least a chance of scattered showers and storms Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Maybe nothing happens, but I think the chance is there based on the conditions with that surface front still to the north. And the high Saturday will be in the 80s. But the message for Saturday, it's not going to rain all day. And it could be the most organized batch of storms will come early Saturday morning with just widely scattered storms Saturday afternoon. So what about Sunday? The front still north of here, and we'll have scattered storms about. This is the European. And understand we're 79 hours out. You need to be within 60 hours to be within the good high-resolution convection allowing models, but this is a good product here. This is the lightning flash density product off the European, clearly showing a chance of storms on Sunday. And again, like Saturday, it's not going to rain all day, probably not raining everywhere, but scattered storms will be around. And the high Sunday will be in the mid-80s in most spots. And all of this is for the northern two-thirds of the state. Gulf Coast, South Alabama, Mobile, Dothan. Most likely you'll be dry all weekend long. So this is Monday, kind of the same thing. We'll have scattered storms about. And then Tuesday, the ridge begins to strengthen. It looks like Tuesday should be mostly dry. Wednesday, we got that surface low that's over Arkansas. And again, during the day, it looks like we'll be dry. It's beginning to look like the better chance of storms with this system. The middle of next week will be Wednesday night, maybe into Thursday morning. And there could be some strong storms here. We obviously aren't going to know the exact details this far out. And then by Thursday, by Thursday afternoon, everything's kind of out of here. So again, let me reset my days here. So again, let's be sure we got the right days here. So again, you're looking at Wednesday. And then Wednesday night into Thursday morning, a chance of showers and storms by Thursday afternoon, the better chance of storms on down to the south. So let's go out 10 days. This is Sunday, May 25th. 591 upper high building across the southern states, and that means kind of hot and kind of dry weather if this is right. We might see a cool down toward the end of next week, but that won't last long. Temperatures coming, let's look at the rain for Birmingham. This is coming off the European ensemble. The mean, it's up there about 2 inches, the green line between now and the 30th of May. Highs in the 80s through Wednesday. And again, you can see evidence highs will drop in the 70s toward the end of next week on Thursday and Friday. Lows in the 50s by Friday and Saturday morning. A nice little breath of fresh air, and we might see a couple of colder pockets in the upper 40s, but most spots should be in the 50s. But then we bounce back in the low 80s for the weekend of the 24th and 25th. That's Memorial Day weekend. And the latest long-range guidance still showing blue here. This is for May 23rd through May 29th, showing temperatures below average. And I do think the Memorial Day weekend looks good here. Comfortable temperatures and probably not much rain around here. All right, we got to roll some Children's of Alabama Kid Cam. Look at the third graders. I like those third graders. Pleasant Valley Elementary School in Calhoun County, home of the Raiders. Had a good session today, and oh man, I like this cake. Wow, that is a piece of art. It was good, too. We loved that cake. But these kids were great today. And school's about out here. We're almost done with it. Next week, everybody's out, but you can still learn some science in the month of May. And we did that today. We talked about forecasting, hurricanes, tornadoes, and much more. So we get into these great students at Pleasant Valley School. Thanks a lot for a great visit earlier today. You guys are looking good. Tomorrow, we're going to be at Phillips Academy in Birmingham. That'll be the last in-school program for the school year. How did time get away from us? Wow. I do have a homeschool group next week, and of course, summer programs are wall-to-wall. But in terms of this year's school sessions, tomorrow morning is the last in-school session. How about that? Tomorrow night, Dress Like Spann Night, Regents Field, Birmingham Barons. Get you a good bright tie. Get you some suspenders here. And remember the alternate? Cargo shorts, novelty socks that are really tacky, and cheap shoes. But I'll be there live at 4, 5, and 6. I'll be throwing out the first pitch. That catcher better get their hand ready to be iced down. I'm going to bring the heat. And then Saturday, it's a book signing. We are at Tannehill State Park for Trade Days. And those are great days. We're going to be there from 10 until 1 with all the weather shirts, hats, our children's books. The book about April 27, 2011, All You Can Do Is Pray, Weathering Life, My Story, and much more. So Saturday, Tannehill State Park, 10 until 1. Hope to see you there. And, of course, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.